Field Report. General Lieutenant Nikolaev, 6th Army Detachment South, Bucharest. The offensive from Odessa has concluded as planned. All initial objectives of the breakthrough have been achieved. Austrian lines have been shattered after brief resistance, and mechanized troops have exploited the situation and taken Bucharest without significant resistance. Germany has hastily redeployed over 60 divisions from the north to halt our advances and mount local counterattacks. Fierce battles have erupted along the supply lines towards the Romanian capital. Once the 16th Army has established defensive positions, we will swing north to encircle and destroy the tattered remnants of von Blomberg's 2nd Army Group. Field Report, General Shteyfon, 6th Army Detachment North, Königsberg. We have started encountering new types of German tanks on the lines, designated Sturmpanzerkampfwagen 6, with noticeable improvements in firepower and armor. Model is throwing everything he has at our lines at great cost. Apparently, the orders are to retake the city by any means. Close air support is effective, but we are taking losses against experienced German AA gunners. Requesting urgent reinforcements to begin destruction of the German panzer forces, as they remain the only strategic threat in the theater. Field Report, General Vatutin, 17th Army, St. Helena. 211th, 12th, 13th and 14th Marines have embarked on troop transports and set out towards Buea. Troops are aware of the risks. As intelligence is thin, we lack air support, and the only naval fire support comes from 4 old Alexandria-class destroyers. Nevertheless, the men will do their duty for the motherland. The Marines are indeed underway and making their way to the capital of Middle Africa, and that should, hopefully, because they are 79% towards capitulation, so I don't think there are many victory points remaining in Middle Africa. We've got the capital itself, but other than that, I think that's about it. And we're still retaking territory in the meantime in the east. So that's ongoing. We do have to keep an eye on that. The outbreak towards Königsberg is sustained and dangerous. So we're ferrying additional troops. We're ferrying additional troops towards Allenstein, as well as the open field positions in the north, where we're bringing the 12th heavy tanks in as additional support. And we've got a division here from the Shatilov's 9th Army that can also make its way to the front lines. Plus, we are sending a 14th over south towards Allenstein to reinforce the lines here. Very sustained attacks here. Heavy and sustained attacks by German forces, despite the aerial superiority that we enjoy. In the south, we have to consolidate the lines, and then we'll be pushing north, trying to destroy the remnants of the 2nd Army Group. That's busy here. But first, we have to keep an eye and make sure that the troops actually make their way in. Germany has decrypted our ciphers. Do we actually have? No. We can do the machine-assisted decryption and return the favor, but that's about everything we can do. So now they actually have a bit of an advantage, unfortunately. And did I send somebody to break out the operative in Austria? I thought I was. Let's have a quick look. It's still being prepared. That's why. We're short on infantry equipment. Why? We should have significant numbers of infantry equipment. Why is the operation not starting? 180 infantry equipment we have. Is it a priority thing? I'm going to normalize the priority of everything at this point and see if that helps. Oh, actually, we'll prioritize operations just to make sure that gets. Could be that reinforcements get prioritized, but we should have enough stockpile to make that happen. So, not entirely certain what's going on there. It's okay. Additional troops arriving, and these lines are a little bit sketchy. So that's where we have to. That's where we have to focus and keep an eye on. We are seeing attacks across the whole northern front line here, and These are sustained, but we should be able to defend against them mostly. Hold the lines there, and I think we are starting to entrench noticeably around Bucharest as well, despite desperate counterattack attempts here everywhere. I am keen to begin offensive operations in the north, however, but I do need the tank divisions freed up. So once they're no longer needed in defense, then they can begin operations there. Africa, we are making progress. I don't think there are no. We've spotted some light tanks up in the north, so there could be some German tanks operating in the area. That would be quite interesting. Marines are still underway. We have very little information about the enemy capitals, so we'll just have to keep an eye on things. Okay, mostly my concern right now is the northern front line, but we have some infantry now assisting, and effectively a counter attack would require us actually to have the tank divisions freed up and ready to go. And right now they are under consistent bombardment. Another problem for a counterattack is the lack of supply, because the whole area is, so it would have to hit Danzig because everything else isn't really viable, unless we manage to encircle German tanks somewhere in the center here. It looks, however, as if the Sturmpanzerkampfwagen 6 are on the move here. We see them here. Well, these are the old Panzer IVs. So not sure if they're moving troops around to different front lines. We'll find out eventually. Here, I think the 16th is at this point in position, but we're struggling to hold the lines here against the counterattacks in the south. So we might have to divert some. I'm gonna send one tank division. Let's get them to fall back, and then send them over. Okay, the DRS has been completed. So after a long time, we actually have something to look at again. The first attempts at special recon and saboteur units in Russia were the Okhotnik teams, small unit of NCOs which existed 1886 to 1908. During the Great War, the Russian army revived the concept in the shape of small units of irregular cavalry, formerly known as special importance detachments, to conduct sabotage and intelligence operations behind enemy lines. While not particularly successful against the Germans, the experience gained was used to great effect by white cavalry and partisan detachments in raids and underground operations against the Bolshevik rear during the Civil War. General-Major Nikolai Zuyev, lecturer at the General Staff Academy and veteran of the Punin detachment, had approached Wrangel with a sweeping plan for recreating them under the name of Special Combat Detachments. Fully modern special forces with a standardized operational doctrine and somewhat expanded mission profile, including psychological warfare and the recruitment of sympathetic foreign nationals. The proposal has received wide backing within the army, including staff luminaries such as Kutepov, who was an Okhotnik during the Russo-Japanese War, and Zuyev's colleague from the General Staff Academy, Golovin. However, controversy has erupted over the extent of the program. Some only support a small, highly elite force directly under the General Staff, whereas others argue for its expansion to every front command. The ultimate decision lies with Wrangel. Let's see, we can get a small force, General Staff control special operations, or theater numerous and diverse, assign special forces to every front headquarters. I think the only effect here seems to be the difference. So I can get a research bonus for special forces research. Let's have a quick look. I could do with some of these. So that would be neat to complete these in an orderly and expedient fashion. I could use 35 Army XP as well and design a few more mechanized, a few more tanks and things. And I think we also are still behind in the doctrine tree. We have to get we still have to get one in the Mountaineers, and that's obviously naval experience. And this should be air experience, yeah, which we have to no end. Air experience is you're never short of. But I think I'm going to take the research bonus. So it also makes more sense strategically because we do have multiple different special forces detachments. Now, what I'm going to do now is, okay, and we have started I think we've started the operation, have we? Yeah, we've started the operation. So it was probably a priority issue. What we can do as well, again, given that we have now Sternberg's 5th Army in position, is to open a second front in support of Greece against the Ottoman state, which will free up our naval forces to move out from the Black Sea, because right now the Ottomans are blocking the straits at Constantinople, I believe. So I don't think we can get through here, which means getting the Ottomans sorted out and having the Persians control the Middle East is going to be, or let's call it West Asia, is going to be an important factor for opening a second front against Austria through the Balkans. And then the mountain troops are also in the right position to operate either across the Carpathians or through the Balkan states, while the rest of the army sweeps along in the north. In order to facilitate that, we have, where is it? Here it is, the Old Enemy. So that will open 35 days. That will open the front against the Ottoman state and remove the last remnant of the Central Powers. Okay, tank needs to go here. The rest of the troops is. I want to get everyone properly dug in, and then at that point we can start moving the tanks off once the situation is stabilized. I'm also ferrying additional. I think I'm ferrying additional anti-tank divisions north to positions here. But it looks like it looks like the German forces have actually moved off. So let's get the 14th Army returning again into the rear, because they are taking a lot of supply. Where are they crushing in now? They're trying to break the center, or are they relocating south? I might need anti-tank forces again. So we've got a few that are still on the move. So I might have to redeploy these forces prophylactically along the center here. Let's make that happen. Now they have just moved north, but that could have been a signal for Guderian to move his tanks, because I'm seeing a lot of German and Austrian tanks suddenly showing up in the center group. We'll leave the heavy tanks on the lines here for now, for a potential planning operation against Danzig. But my primary objective in the north is to catch the enemy armored forces. So we'll have to find out. We might have to relocate once we find out where they actually end up going. If they're going to try and counterattack us in the south, that would be interesting as well. All right, troop movements in Africa underway, and we are passing by Sao Tome with destroyers still guarding the troops, and hopefully they should be actually. They don't have range. Okay, they don't have range to make it all the way there, so unfortunately they will have to return to port. So the destroyers have run out of fuel, and the escorts are turning back, which means we are not getting naval bombardment support even. So the Marine divisions are going to have to pull this on their own, and we will see if they can take Buea. I think that's how it's pronounced. Okay, back to the situation on the front lines. We'll have to wait again to find out where the German tanks are going to concentrate. And if they are planning, they're definitely moved off the northern flank and are relocating. My guess would be the center. So they're trying to concentrate forces in the center and relieve the pressure on the rest of the areas. But we'll have to wait and see for that to happen. Okay, I think where troops are starting to dig in a little bit. I'm going to wait and see until they are completely entrenched in the infantry before we relocate the light tanks north to break through. Eventually, we'll replace the light tanks with more capable forces, but for now they will do the trick. The Obukov has another trait available. What do we got? We can get efficiency cap, production efficiency for anti-air, not particularly necessary. Resource need reduction or conversion speed. I'm going to take conversion speed because we probably have some old equipment that can be converted, and if we can do that more rapidly, and we're going to do the same on the PPSH assault rifles, then that's probably a good thing. How are we on equipment? Still a slight shortage on the flame tanks, just because these things are absolutely ubiquitous. So it's easy to forget, but most of our troops are equipped with flame tanks, and that has been a major part of the overall successes along the lines here. Okay, we have made progress. We'll be taking the village of Bukoba with some support, and that means also this elusive armored division that is moving east here, where we are a little short on. Okay, I'm gonna have to get the troops concentrated because we have to make sure we're not actually losing ground here, getting them to break out. But that should allow us to encircle and destroy that as well. So if that's a German, I don't know if it's Middle Africa or if it's an actual German tank division. It looks like a Panzer IV just from the sightings in the jungle. Then that's something to keep an eye on. All right, so troops have begun landing operations. We've bypassed the fortifications at Santa Isabel, and there's only a single Wehrbezirkskommando on site. We're a bit short on equipment, but we should be able to break them without too much trouble. And hopefully, because we do have reinforcements, so hopefully the enemy capital will fall. And once that battle is concluded, then we should be able to. We should be hopefully ending the war in Africa without further bloodshed. Okay, Marines have landed. The enemy capital has fallen. And with that, Middle Africa still stands. So where are they now? Oh, they still had a city somewhere in the jungle here. Okay, so taking the capital by itself was insufficient. Where are we sending the other Marines? They can actually go to that front line now as well. So we're going to get all the Marine divisions in the lines here. And now I think we can probably move the destroyers. I can move the destroyers on to over here. Yeah. And take care of that. We could also take the fortress of Santa Isabel, but I'd like to expand our lines a little bit first. So let's give us a bit of a strategic rear. Is there any okay, there's another supply hub here that we should be taking. So let's see. Okay, that would be going through there. Let's send one division north and another division through here. So let's secure the supply lines here, and then we can move along the coast, clear out the enemy ports, prohibit any reinforcements by sea, and then probably also take the Santa Isabel fortification. In the meantime, we're still clearing out eastwards here. Right. Assaults against the Königsberg lines are. Oh no, actually the tanks are back. Okay, so they have taken a short reprieve, but they're now back at running assaults against the lines here. But now our troops had some opportunity to recover, and it's also not. I've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's not the whole Panzer army. So do we? Yes, we have a few divisions along the lines here that are trying to run diversionary attacks by the looks of it. Okay. Front lines here are still stabilizing. Again, I'm going to wait until everyone is dug in properly and has recovered their organization. The supply situation here has improved now that we've completed a new railway connection north of Odessa, because we've previously been shipping that across rivers, which was insufficient for our troops. So soon, I think we can concentrate the 6th Army's light tanks for another push. Okay. In Africa, that is all going to take a little bit of time. We'll leave one division. We'll leave one division behind in. We'll leave one division behind in the capital, and to make sure that we are. Is Nigeria? Yes, Nigeria is part of the Reichspakt as well. So we've got more work to do here. That's for sure. But I think we are also we're clear for encirclement. So everything is looking rather stable. Just making sure that these troops are properly entrenched and have their defensive lines set up. So with we have a potential here for a pincer movement, and with the southern flank's a bit weak at Allenstein, but I think we only have one tank division here, so we might need to rebalance this a little bit. We'll wait until the battles the attacks have been repulsed. But what I'm thinking is, as we're already at the edge of our supply here, so the best we could probably do would be to take Elbing and simultaneously move west out of Allenstein with whatever fuel we can gather. Do I have transport planes at this point? I put up a line at some while ago. Yeah, we've got 13 transport planes. Can we organize these for some fuel drops on the front line from Königsberg? Let's see. That'd be first air army. So if we create a new air wing, where are they? Transport crafts. Scout transport planes, yes. Okay. So we've got a transport air wing, and we get them to air supply. Let's see. Depends on mission efficiency, interception, and enemy AA. Yeah, AA is going to be the problem a little bit, but we'll see if that makes a noticeable difference, and if we can get additional supply from airdrops. So far, not an awful lot, but we'll have a look once the airdrops are established, and if we can get additional supply in for a potential push. I'd love for the tanks to move into the central area so we can capture and encircle them, but so far they've sort of concentrated here, and that's not an easy one to break because we are at the edge of our permissive supply lines. I have enough for, where is it? We can do that again. I have enough to run Bolster Spirits once more. I'm not entirely certain what's going on here, because we're not taking any enemy bombing. Why are we still having decreasing war support from bombing? There is no bombing. Unless I've missed something somewhere. Well, these are not our troops. So, yeah, I don't see... it's not much, but it could be over Poland, I guess. Yeah, there's very minor bombing over Poland, but yeah, I want to make sure that I'm going to run that once more. I want to make sure that the war support gets maintained. But we also have some other decisions to take. This is probably just ace pilot shenanigans. We've got other decisions to take as well at some point. There are this one, diversify the elite forces, so I can get the paratrooper training going. So that would be important as well. Okay, so while that's ongoing, keep an eye on the Africa situation. Have we managed to move troops in and encircle the enemy? Yes, we have. which means we have now caught 2, 3, 4, 5 divisions, including one. Okay, it's a Middle Africa tanks, but we've got one armored brigade included here. So let's immediately begin the cleanup operations and make sure that make sure that we have that all under control and clear that up. The Marines are making their moves, and we have another special project available. What is this? Land warfare? No, this is naval. Oh, we have a naval project available. Right. Haven't done one of these since the Dreadnought. So what can we get? We can get. Let's start from the top. Cruiser submarines, don't really need them. Midget submarines, don't really need them. Anechoic tiles, I'm fine. Torpedo cruiser, no. Armored cruiser, no. Air independent propulsion, that would be for probably making submarines more quiet. And proximity fuses. Proximity fuses are generally great historically, but not particularly useful for us at this point. So this would be air independent propulsion ship modules. That will make our submarines somewhat better. I mean, this is something we could do. Armored cruiser projects, I think we are good in that regard. Same with the torpedo cruiser. I can design these if I need them. This is another submarine module. Midget submarines would probably have very, very short range. Not really. What are they good for? Harbor sabotage to convoy raiding. No, we need cruiser submarine. Might be actually interesting to give us more range. I think I'm going to go for the cruiser submarines. Let's do that, because our submarines are a bit outdated as they are. So we'll go for the cruiser submarines, and we'll see where that gets us. We've got some. I think this doesn't look like German troops. This looks like South African troops that have broken our lines here. Is that a threatening supply? Yes, but I will deal with that after we've cleaned up here. Meanwhile, the Marines are making progress. And I am looking for an opportunity here to break through and destroy a few tanks, but unfortunately hasn't quite materialized, and they have moved off again the central lines here. But we have, I think, at this point established ourselves reasonably well, so we can concentrate as the supply situation in. We should have sufficient supply. So we'll concentrate the light tanks across along the lines here. That should be possible from here. Just checking. Yeah, that is possible to attack. So we'll concentrate along the lines here and then see if we can punch through northwards, cut this all off, and destroy the second army group here. So let's get the light tanks. Get the light tanks concentrated along the lines here, and your goal will be to move effectively to clear out the remaining territory and destroy what we can in the process. All right, quick look at the supply situation. We get a little bit of supply from airdrops. We might need a few more. We'll get a few more factories onto the transport aircraft once we eventually get through the construction. I think we'll have 3 factories reasonably soon. So let's schedule that already, so I don't forget. There we go, and then that can improve the transport fleet, and we'll have to research some better transport aircraft as well. Situation in Scandinavia looks reasonably calm. Finland hasn't made any major inroads at this point. I'm still somewhat suspicious with Finland's eventual intentions, but we will see how that goes. The mountain divisions are ready and are planning their assaults. Obviously, the Ottomans know that we're coming, but I don't think they will have much of a chance. How are our operatives? Okay, we have we're still rescuing, but Andreeva is Currently not busy anywhere. I could send her to the Ottoman Empire. How much longer until we've still got a few days. Yeah, I'm going to send her over to the Ottoman Empire to build up some intelligence around Ankara, because that's where we are going to have our initial thrust, to cut off the east, cut the country in half basically, then clear up the east and then clear out the west. That's the plan. And Persia gets to deal with the situation on the ground. So we'll get her underway. And that brings us, well, to the European front, really. How are our air wings doing? Okay, the air wings have somewhat recovered. Not too happy about the lack of experience. But what I could do we have a, no, we still don't have any additional ace pilots. What I could do is I could get these divisions to get the divisions to train back up for the meantime. We've got also some air support operating in Romania, but given the lack of opposition, there's not an awful lot going on here that needs to be taken care of. And obviously, these fighter wings currently don't have anything to do. So, can we create another close air support wing? Do we have? Yep, we've got a few. So we get another close air support wing training up. These ones are on ground support, so that's all good. And the remnants of the enemy air force are being dealt with in the north, and we have enough support for an attack operation at Königsberg. I think, yeah, the tanks are moving a little bit around. We still got most of them here, but not in positions where we could easily encircle and destroy them. So I think we'll remain defensive here for now while we are preparing for the assault on the southern flank. And we've got, I think we can leave one division. We're pulling one division in, so that division can move here afterwards. And then the Marines are going to take over the supply line here. And then we can clear out the ports along the coast. This is still ongoing, and that should clear itself quickly as well. Okay, so waiting for the light tanks to arrive. Ideally, we'd have an opportunity to counterattack, but I think we've got open terrain here that we can use to push through without too much trouble. However, obviously, supply is rapidly becoming an issue again because, these ones, because we just have too many things in one spot that need a lot of supply. Improved air launch torpedoes are done. That's great. And I was going to get, this is still ahead of time, but I think I'll get that going just so we can begin equipping some aircraft against port strikes. So let's get that underway, All right, tanks are in place. I think it's just a matter of planning, and the situation in the north has not quite changed. I was hoping that they would start concentrating the tanks a bit more, but this is all one province here. Yeah. So the only opportunity for an encirclement really we would have would be to go around here, because going around like this, we just don't have the supply for it. So that's not happening. Am I researching the? Yeah, logistics is being researched, so we can eventually change that around as well. And that means we're just waiting. There are some there's some Dutch armor underway here, but we've got 12 infantry divisions that we're facing. I think we can take them. I just want to make sure we've got the planning. We probably have we have enough to run a staff office plan for the 6th. Okay, and that should speed that process up a little bit, and then we can launch the assault. In Africa, troops are moving. They're moving slowly. It looks like we're seeing increased enemy activity now along the lines here. and we are going to... we obviously have to deal with Nigerian troops on the north as well, so I don't necessarily want the troops to get too scattered here. So we'll concentrate the front line like this for now. And also here, the plan is to make their way down across the coast. So we will do that primarily. Okay, moving the destroyers for some light gun naval gunnery support for our operations along the coastline. And now we're getting counterattacked by the Nigerians in the north, but the Marines should not have any trouble holding that. I'm just going to make sure. I'm just going to get the 211th assigned here, just to make sure that they are staying in the enemy capital, because that is an essential part of the operations. We've cleared out the lines here, and how many? What have we destroyed? 20,000 enemy troops, and they've probably lost. There should have been some tanks in here. Let's see what they've lost. Not seeing them. But there should have been a tank division included somewhere that we've destroyed. Oh well. Maybe they were somewhat mythical. Now that we've done that, we could move further. We could move further south for a potential assault against Elizabethville if it becomes necessary. But Middle Africa, the government is still resisting. So. For now we'll do that. So that means we need to cut off enemy troops here, and we'll focus the rest of them south. I think that they can still get out there. Okay, so we'll focus the rest on the south in order to cut the lines there. And the rest of the troops can. We can encircle a few here and destroy a few more enemy troops, making the movement easier. I might have to divert 2 divisions just to to secure the railway lines again. That would be unpleasant otherwise. We've lost a submarine. There are German destroyers operating in the Baltics. It is presumed that they're operating either out of Danzig or Stettin, so the main fleet. But we're still waiting for the rest of the ships to come online, and we're building a fair few more dockyards now as well. Okay, I think now we're starting to have a good opportunity here. So what are we short of? Not an awful lot. Few flame tanks and other things, but I think we have a potential opportunity here to lead an operation with the help of the 12th Army, because we now have 8 tank divisions in the center. So let's see if we can break these lines. Let's go on the counterattack. We'll launch the assault with the 9th, and we'll launch the full attack with probably, let's make it 4 tank divisions in the north against the enemy. There is a fair amount of enemy tanks here, but we might be able to break them, and then we'll get the anti-tank divisions. Let's get 4 anti-tank divisions assigned in the south here, and some fire support out of the trench lines, and some infantry fire support here as well. So we're now going on the offensive towards Elbing. This should be, this is open terrain, so we should be, it's quite hot now there at the moment in high summer. But the heavy tanks are, despite their slight lack of supply, should be able to break through the enemy lines without too much trouble. And the Air Force obviously is assisting. Counterattack running probably from the center. Yes, I do want to make sure that we're. I do want to make sure that we are. So I might. I might divert. I might divert a few infantry divisions onto the central group, just to make sure that they're staying in place while we're pushing through. This is a tricky This is a tricky battle, but I think we can win in Elbing. We've got reserves here. We've got tank reserves here. So if we can manage to push through the infantry before they can reinforce. Burma has capitulated. Dark times indeed. Has Germany made significant... Okay, I haven't looked there in a while. Has Germany made significant... Yeah, Germany East Asia has taken Burma. Siam is neutral. That might open... is Siam involved anywhere in the war? It isn't. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way for us to get to open a front. I was thinking to given that we can't do the sea routes, I was thinking of making a land push towards Singapore and capture the rubber. That said, they don't have access to the rubber anyway. This is giving significant tungsten to Germany, however, or to Germany East Asia at least. So taking Germany East Asia would be an interesting operation. We'll leave that to India for the time being. I don't think Germany can hold this, but we'll leave it to them for now. Okay, how's the situation here? We are going to send the 212th to follow this up. We're running a little short on divisions, really, but we'll send the 212th to follow this up, and then we'll try to secure the coastline here. We would need a few more divisions, really, to make things happen. All right, rest of the troops still on the go. And the big question now comes: can we push out from Allenstein? Is the big question here. And can we make the battle in Elbing happen? Because we only have one heavy tank division in the south. Okay, Elbing has already fallen, so I'm going to send more tank divisions reinforcing the southern thrust, and we do need to push one more. We do need to push one more position. So let's send the heavy tank, the reserves from the heavy tanks in. Reserves from we'll send. Can we directly? No, we're good to send we're good to follow up with the infantry. So let's get the 13th and 14th to continue the assault, and the rest of the troops is going to maintain operations in the center. We'll leave one division behind. The rest go immediately on the attack against the exhausted 30th Panzer Division has been pushed off, but there are significant reserves, and we don't have much of a front line. That actually works in our advantage, I think. So we've got. I think we have enough firepower to push our way through here, and if this works, we'll catch 7 or 8 enemy tank divisions. We'll apply everything we have to that push. But okay, we've made it to the south. 7 enemy panzer divisions still stuck south of Elbing, and now we can once the counterattack has been defeated. Okay, there we go. Now we can assault. We can support the assault from the other side with sufficient forces. That widens up the front line, brings more heavy tank divisions to bear, and with that we should be able to push out the enemy here relatively easily. There we go. And now we can begin. Actually, not yet support the attack here for now. We'll bring. We'll leave a few. We don't need that many. We don't need that many heavy tanks here, but let's make sure that we are actually taking the positions. Yes, we have, and I think we probably have overrun the enemy at this point. We should have. And the road to Danzig is completely open at this stage, so I think we'll just take Danzig at this point. I don't think they can. Yep, there was the overrun. That would have been the big battle that Shteyfon has been looking for. So let's have a look at that. They have lost, yeah, there we go. 130 Panzer 6, the modern version, 40 Panzer 4s. So let's just tally them up. What's that? 170, 170, so 340, This would be this was not a tank division. Okay, so let's say about 100 feet. Let's be generous, 150, and we overrun 7 tank divisions. So that's about 1,000, like a good portion of 1,000 plus tanks have been surrendered in the field, and that means Germany's armored spearhead has been significantly weakened. They still have large numbers. It's not that, but the road to Danzig is now open, and they will lose that vital port, which secures supply for us in the area as well. Once we take Danzig, and then we can begin further assaults and get the heavy tanks concentrated along the lines in the south for further operations towards Warsaw. And we also should now have the light tanks fully planned. Indeed we do. So we can begin launching the tank operations against the somewhat weakened Austrian lines here. And no, not with the infantry, with the light tanks. Okay, and the goal here is to push all our way north towards Mogilev, and then run the operations there. We do have another heavy tank division, so obviously that goes into Shteyfon's group, and we will send that. Here to this front line for now. So we'll send some support in. We have captured a new facility. Where have we? Where have we taken a new facility? Oh, there's an aerodynamics facility in south of Elbing here, somewhere in the no man's land. So, do we actually still have yeah, we have scientists. That's a rocket specialist, a jet specialist, and a radar specialist. I'm gonna get the jet specialist assigned here. I'm not doing anything here, but it's just good to have the positions. All right, we are seeing. Yeah, we've got enemy ships incoming. There might be. Yeah, it's a destroyer group again. So they are definitely starting to defend their convoys here now, which means I'm probably going to get them off convoy raiding at this point, and I might merge the two groups. Honestly, yeah, I'm just gonna merge the two groups here. Yeah, one of them is currently in combat, so that doesn't work. Okay, so that has been a significant victories. 1,000 tanks near Danzig left on the fields by retreating German troops. And the operations here, okay, significant Nigerian forces now in the north as well. So I think we're not going to hold this position particularly. Not going to hold this position particularly long. We might just concentrate on holding the coastline and leave the inland forces to the Nigerians. Okay, we've cut off the northern part of the front line here. These troops are on the march, and now it's just a matter of cutting off the southern half as well. It's not as many troops as I had hoped for, but it allows us. We have a few more opportunities here to cut off the odd division and just gain some territory. Still, we might eventually have to make our way all the way towards Elizabethville, which is going to be a big problem supply-wise. Plus, we would have to get through the central mountains here as well. So I had hoped that taking the ports of them would have been enough, but might not be the case. So further operations ongoing. We're waiting on the Turkish border. A few more days until that happens. And we're now running the light tanks north. I'm just going to fix the front lines here. Once we've taken Danzig, then I'm going to go and fix the front lines. We also have the first super heavy railway gunning completed. So I'm going to move that one towards the northern front near Mogilev, where it can provide fire support for the offensive operations. Do we have one in the south, actually? I don't think we do. I might actually just send it here and leave the one in Venezia that's already in place. Yeah, I'll send a new one south towards the Romanian region, and then I will focus on this assault here, where why are we sending the infantry in? I want the light tanks to lead. There we go, light tanks leading the charge against the exhausted Reichspakt forces. Should not be too much of a problem. And then we'll cut off significant forces there again. In the north, do we have a closer airbase now? Yes, the Masuria airbase is a little closer. That is, we can send the transport planes here and probably the close air support wings. Okay. Fighters should have range to clear everything without too much trouble. So that's that. Close air support wings have taken losses again. But we'll get them trained up once the operations are complete. Danzig, have we not managed to take Danzig? Let's make that happen. I think it's just the 961st Infantry, and we do need the city in order to provide supply to the front lines. So taking that is necessary. So we are send some infantry over as well. We are sending troops in. Fortunately, reinforcements have arrived. So let's make sure. No, we have taken Danzig. So infantry moves in to secure the lines. We have enough. Yeah, we definitely have enough infantry along the front line here to hold that all. And now we should, once the supply has been connected, we should be getting sufficient, somewhat more sufficient supply in the south here. Now we're looking for the next opportunity to destroy more of Germany's panzer forces. We still have to clear the railway, and then we can move the railway gun there as well. And we have the 14th Army for special operations ready. How's the assault in the south going? Making headway. We'll leave 2 tank divisions here and we're making a slight widening of the lines here. And we are already going to start attacking some of the enemy troops, just to make sure that they're not moving, that they're not escaping. Counterattacks running here, so we can begin. We have to be a bit careful. We can begin attacks across the river in the north as well. And I think we're making rapid progress here. This is all on the 6th Army without necessary infantry support. So once we've cleared the lines, then infantry support will start rolling in. So let's make sure that the enemy troops are engaged and don't have an opportunity to make their way out and escape. We do have to be careful against potential counterattacks along the lines here, but I think we are facing the 14th and 32nd Panzer Division now. The light tanks are going to struggle against these. Actually, they're not. These must be older models that are fighting here. It looks like we've managed to catch most of the more modern Panzer models in north near Königsberg. So let's see if we can manage the encirclement here and break through infantry from the north, as well as the 6th Army's light tanks along the southern line. Everything else is relatively stable. Danzig is under control, and we don't need the additional. As long as we've got Danzig stabilized, then I'm all good. I might send the 14th to Danzig just as additional reinforcements, and most of the remnants of the German armored forces are actually moving off the front lines by the looks of it here. So once we have the railways connected, then we should be good to push south towards Warsaw. How much supply are we getting from airdrops? It's still it's marginal or nothing, but we'll still run it anyway. Let's see how much we can get. Okay, quick look at Africa is to make sure. Okay, we have encircled and we have destroyed and encircled one. I'll leave one division here. Destroyed and destroyed one of the one of the guarding divisions here. We should still get the other Marines. The rest of the Marines is underway. There's no threat from submarines detected in the area. So we should still have enough to... let's see if we can just move in towards... actually, if we move that division here and that division towards Libreville, that'll deprive them of another... of one more city. And one more port here, and that should be the last port. So if we then we'll just hold the coastline. We'll hold the ports, hold the coastline, and that should be sufficient. All right. Here we have made the break again towards Bismarckburg, and then we can clear out these enemy troops. And here in the north, we'll be dealing with that encircled. Oh, not encircled, but I think they can escape here. But we need to reconnect the railway lines, so that needs to happen. So the critical attack is the one from the 6th Army's light tanks against superior enemy forces, but the light tanks winning out in the end. Obvious immediate counterattacks. I think I've got all infantry at this point engaged. That needs to be engaged, and we'll support the... I do need you to stay. We'll support the light tank attacks. We'll support the attacks here. That is the critical position now. So Shteyfon against von Manstein. There's one remaining, so 24th Panzer. That is holding position south of Mohilev. But if we can break that position, then we should have entrapped a fair amount of enemy troops here. It's just a question of, can we get through the last remaining, and we can get through the last remaining positions reasonably quickly, but there we go. So Shteyfon's light tanks have beaten the German heavies, and we have encircled a grand total of, let me tally that up actually, 33, 36, 39, 45, 50, 52 divisions, including 8 German tank divisions. So it looks like they had sent panzer forces from the front line in an emergency push. Yeah, there's just about 6 German panzer divisions left here. They had sent large parts of their remaining armored spearhead to try and hold the precarious position south of Mohilev, but have been completely encircled at this point, and will be entirely destroyed, provided that we can hold the lines here. It's a little precarious, so I might send a few infantry divisions along here just to assist with defense, because we have to make sure that they're not getting counterattacked. But I think we can hold this, and it's now or never. The largest encirclement, I believe, in this war so far of the enemy troops. They are desperate rearguards, and Shatilov has actually been wounded while leading this attack, which is very unfortunate. Overall, we have cleared out what I believe was probably the largest encirclement of enemy troops during the war. Let's see if we can get a total tally here. 50,000, 480,000, that was the main part. So this was the rest of the Second Army Group that has been under, I think it was under Model. Second Army Group has been defeated completely. And the biggest part of this was that a second large enemy tank force has been destroyed as part of this operation. So overall, almost 550,000. So over 500,000 men have surrendered in the fields between Chisinau and Mohilev in Romanian-controlled territory, or previous Romanian-controlled territory. And with that, I believe we have broken the back of the largest remaining of the single remaining threat. They've got 14 tank divisions left. Yes, so there's still a few there, but all in all, the losses are absolutely catastrophic. Do they have the manpower to? They still have 2 million men available, and the population still supports the war. But as the summer of 1943 concludes, I think the realization is going to come in that that Germany has lost this war, and now it's just a matter of how much longer before they see the result of it. So we are looking at, okay, and we have cleared out the positions here. So now what I'm going to do is actually going to give these, what we'll do here is remove the front line and give these a fallback position just along the coastline, just to make sure that we've got through all of them. For now, we'll just take a fallback position along the coastline. Because right now we have 4 divisions and we need 4 divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we need 5 divisions. So when we can't hold this supply position here, but we can hold the coastline, which means we can bring these back into port in Rio Muni, and then we'll wait for the reinforcements and plan a naval invasion of Santa Isabel once we have additional troops available. Middle Africa is still holding out despite the loss of the ports, and I think we should be able to hold the line there. We have encircled a few more troops here, so now we can get these destroyed as well. I don't think we have supply to cut through here. Probably not. Maybe. What is this looking like? No, not really. Okay. Yep. Here we need to reconnect the railways because we have cut off supply to our allied troops, or they have cut off supply to our allied troops. So we'll reconnect the railways here, and then we'll see what other operations. We might have to do an operation towards Elisabethville if Middle Africa isn't going to capitulate. But all in all, a great success. We sunk another convoy. Great success all in all. And now I can actually merge the 2 submarine groups here because they are really just they're getting a little under strength. We are eventually going to build additional submarines again, but right now we're waiting for autumn 1943, at which point we are going to start challenging the remnants of the Hochseeflotte in the Baltics and the Kaiserliche Marine. And next major operations are going to be to liberate Poland and to push the Austrians back. Further, all the way towards the Carpathians, and then as well in 6 days we'll open the front against the Ottoman Empire and begin the operations in the south, where we're going to operate in support of the Greeks in returning to the ever-present Balkan Wars. But put additional pressure on Greater Austria, and then eventually make our way into Germany proper at some point. All of that to come in future episodes. India is putting great pressure on German East Asia, but I think German East Asia has probably sufficient troops to hold the lines here. We'll see if they can maintain their positions in Rangoon. We might be sending some support to India. Japan has taken Jinan, so it looks like the Qing government is under severe pressure, the remnants of it. So Japan is making progress across China and also across the Pacific to a degree. Philippines are still in a stalemate. And other than that, I think the Americas are relatively calm. The Buenos Aires-Lima axis is in control of pretty much all of South America, whereas the Entente is operating in the north. So the Entente still so far has not made any moves against Britain. Interestingly enough, I would have expected a naval operations out of Ireland, but it could be that the British Home Fleet has managed to defeat the American surface forces. There was a battle at some point. that they have managed to defeat American surface forces, and they're securing the waters around the home isles. So it could be that the Union of Britain actually remains throughout the whole affair. But we shall see further offensive operations to come, and further destruction of enemy forces along the front lines will eventually allow us to go on a general offensive along the wider lines. But that is to come in the next episode.